Hey everybody. It is 9:21 when I'm filming this in the evening. I've had back-to-back classes, like meetings, appointments, gym, but today is not about that. So this video is going to be kind of unfiltered and just me and my brain, my two brain cells together trying to marching band our way through this. So you might have seen on my Instagram stories that I did like a little get ready to film with me thing where I basically just randomly, with my eyes closed, grabbed a book off the bookshelf. I may do that again. If you guys thought that was funny and inventive, I don't know what's funny or inventive anymore. Is this angle weird? Probably. Is that better? That seems better. Okay. Anyway, so I might do that series again if that seems like something that you guys would be into. But the book that I grabbed was Eleanor and Park by Rainbow Rowell. So this is just randomly unscripted video. Let's get into it. So I'm just gonna start by kind of telling you what the book is about. Curtis Sittenfeld for the New Yorker wrote, Rowell's humor, tenderness, and sense of detail are extraordinary. The Hornbook, winner of the Hornbook Award for Fiction, said, an honest, heart-wrenching portrayal of imperfect but unforgettable love. Rowell's writing swings from profane to profound, but it's always real and always raw. NPR Books. That was my impression of a Victorian doctor, the last one. And now I'll read you the actual blurb. Rainbow Rowell's timeless classic, now in paperback for the very first time. Bono met his wife in high school, Park says. So did Jerry B. Lewis, Eleanor answers. I'm not kidding, he says. You should be, she says. We're 16. What about Romeo and Juliet? Shallow, confused, then dead. I love you, Park says. Wherefore art thou? Eleanor answers. I'm not kidding, he says. You should be. And I'm a big fan of Pretty in Pink. So if you know what that is, that's a very popular 80s movie with Molly Ringwald in it. Honestly, a lot of people should watch more 80s movies. I feel like it's very healing for your soul to watch those kinds of movies. I also realized I never actually introduced myself. So I'm Grace. This is not my normal video. My video before this was like super well researched commentary video. And this is just like me with a microphone trying to put 3 syllables together, basically, because I'm tired. So I'm in college. I write books and stuff. So that's what I do. So the sprayed, whatever the heck these are called, the colorful edges say nothing before you counts. And it has a little cassette tape on the one side. I think that's super cute. I do still put them spine out though, so I can tell what book's what, because it irritates me when I can't tell. But Rainbow Rowell is one of my favorite authors, and I've interacted with her amazingly like a couple times online, and she's always been so kind. And like that's the weird part about like being a content creator and like seeing your content grow is that like people talk to you and you're like, this is different than when I was 12. What are you talking about? People want to talk to me and are excited to hear what I have to say. Like, saying to me that like people want to like say hi about my content or like send me like the nicest messages about my content or say that like I'm inspiring, and I'm like, I have cereal with cheese in the morning. What are you talking about? Like, I see the behind the scenes of all that I'm doing. So I see like me struggling to come up with a filming idea and then randomly trying to do something funny on Instagram, or like when I am like tired down to my bone marrow, but I care about this community so much, so I still pull out the camera and film, even though I'm really tired. And Or like, when like I'm sad and I still pluck up the courage to go to the gym, even though I know I'm gonna be like fighting 15 frat guys for the same 12 machines, you know, and like I see the behind the scenes of all that, and then you guys see like these super polished videos of like crafting videos and outfit videos and like decorations and books and all this stuff on my Instagram and like skits on my TikTok and these well researched videos on my YouTube, and then I'm over here like I have cheese with my cereal in the morning. Like I sometimes need a chocolate cake pop from Starbucks to get me through the day. Like, what are you talking about? I'm inspiring? Do you know what I find inspiring? Getting more than 6 hours of sleep at night. Like literally, I am in my pajamas. We are just gonna ooh, my chair spins. We're just gonna have a little fun chat is what we're gonna do. So, back to the book because I got super off track. So, a lot of romance books because in case you don't know, I'm also filming this on like September 16th. So, the finale of The Summer I Turned Pretty is coming out tonight. And I'm so excited, but it's really got me thinking about like romance books and like the teen romance genre and like where it's changing and where it's going. Also because I'm involved in that genre because that's like what I write. Because Conrad has kind of become the representative for men, like healthy men, I think. But for me, that all stems with Eleanor and Park because like this was the book that pulled me out of a reading slump at the beginning of college. So when I started college, I didn't have a lot of time to read things that weren't super interesting. So books had to be very high concept, very commercial in order to pique my interest. Like there wasn't a lot of room for experimental fiction about some dude trapped in sand or like literary fiction about a woman who's experiencing psychosis. Like, those books are great, but I literally just wanted something that would keep me interested and engaged from page one, so I didn't have to feel bad about myself, basically. So I could finish a book in one sitting, and little confidence booster, little motivation booster. And that's what this was. I picked it up at Barnes and Noble, and I did not read the back. I knew that I would like it because it looked like it was taking place in the 80s and it looked like it was like Pretty in Pink, two kids that aren't supposed to work together, but somehow they do, even though they're complete opposites by societal standards. And that's how I knew that I would like it because that's what Pretty in Pink is. So I knew I would be a fan of that. And I loved the sprayed edges, and I was also hoping that if I liked it, I could get my mom to read it because that's a whole side story that you don't need to know about. The romance genre lately has been very dominated by dual POV stories. So it used to be very much singular POV. Because I try to also make my channel accessible to people of all reading levels. People would assume that you would know facts about the publishing industry, but sometimes reading can feel very esoteric where it feels very based around a certain audience. And I always want to make sure that people feel comfortable watching my videos, no matter what reading background they are, so that sometimes I go into more detail for that reason. So, just so you guys who are more advanced are comfortable with that. But yeah, so single POV used to really dominate the teen romance market, and now it's more so about dual POV. And in my case, I've written a multi POV manuscript that I'm working on getting out there right now, which is I have a bit of a love triangle plotline in my story, and I have it from each perspective, so the two guys and then the girl. So I have a chapter, each one gets a chapter, and I feel like that adds a very interesting dynamic because it also gives you insights into the locations. And it also makes you question who she could end up with. Because a lot of times, if there's a love triangle with dual POV, you figure she's going to end up with the guy who has the other chapter. But in my case, it ends up being more about exploring each character, and that way the ending feels more fulfilling because you're not just leaning into whatever character you're guiding the reader towards liking more. Each one is fleshed out more. So, Eleanor and Park is about a girl and a guy who meet in high school, and they initially don't really get along. They're sort of just ambivalent towards each other. They sit next to each other on the bus, but they're not really super close friends. Until they start sharing comic books with each other. And so he really likes comic books. It's the 80s, comic books are huge. And so they start sharing comic books, and she has a really difficult home life. So she really seeks that as an escape from her everyday happenings and the things that she deals with at home that are hard. He keeps giving her comic books, and they start bonding over the characters that they like. Then they start talking about music, and they like the same music in really detailed, specific ways. And then they start, becoming really protective over each other and their various struggles. But then there are also things beyond their control that impact their relationship. And I will say the last 30 pages and 30 to 50 pages are absolutely heart-wrenching. So I highly suggest bringing a Kleenex with you, or a whole box, honestly, because this is, I think, one of the saddest things that you might read all year. Whenever anybody asks me for sad book recommendations, I recommend this book because it is so sad. It is. I was crying listening to Gracie Abrams when I read this. I'll put it that way. One's called Fangirl, which I really, really loved. It's about these twin sisters that go to college, and one of them writes fan fiction. It was published in 2011, so it's great. It's a little slow for the first third, but then it really picked up, and I loved it. Quasi spicy, maybe 2 chili peppers. Not that spicy. And I also don't think that the back really does it justice, because that makes it sound really poetic. And let me try to find a part that's my favorite. So here's one of my favorite parts. From the context, it looks like Park got into a fight at school. And so I'll read you a section. Somehow the bruises and swelling made Park even more beautiful. This is Eleanor's POV, by the way. His face looked ready to break out of its chrysalis. "They're still going to make fun of me," she blurted. "This fight doesn't change that. You can't start kicking people every time someone thinks I'm weird or ugly. Promise me you won't try. Promise me that you'll try not to care." He pulled on her hand again and shook his head gingerly. "Because it doesn't matter to me, Park, if you like me," she said. "I swear to God nothing else matters." He leaned it back into his headboard and pulled her hand to his chest. "Eleanor, how many times do I have to tell you," he said through his teeth, "that I don't like you. ... It was a terrible thing to admit, but sometimes Eleanor slept right through the yelling, especially after she'd been back a couple months. If she were to wake up every time Richie got angry, if she got scared every time she heard him yelling in the back room. Sometimes Maisie would wake her up, crawling into the top bunk. Maisie wouldn't let Eleanor see her cry during the day, but she shook like a little baby and sucked her thumb at night. All 5 of them had learned to cry without making any noise. "It's okay," Eleanor would say, hugging her. "It's okay." Tonight, when Eleanor woke up, she knew something was different. Ta-da! Dun-dun-dun! And those are some of my favorite sections, and I won't read you anything from the last 50 pages because that has a lot of spoilers, and it also is very emotional, and I want you to experience that for yourself. I really like doing commentary videos. I think I might do more of those, so if you guys have any topics that you want me to cover or anything, let me know. I'll look it up on the interwebs. Make sure to follow me on Instagram and wherever else I am, because I'm places. I'm everywhere. I'm everywhere and nowhere. I'm so tired. And I will see you next time. Maybe for a study vlog or a regular vlog. So, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!